What's up, everybody? Chris Flick here, Chris Flick Podcast, episode number 127. In this episode, I'm going to ask you a question here. All right, who do you think has more free time? A prison inmate or your child? Now, let's take some time to unpack this a little bit. Now, you look at your kid's schedule. Say school's back in action, right? Let's say my daughter's example, they have the option to have full-day preschool and kindergarten. So what are we looking at there? 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then if you have an activity packed on top of that, just one, hopefully. Maybe not. Some people might have two going on. But let's just say there's one. You're there till 3. As a parent, you don't get to see your kid for 7 hours. Then they are home, and now you're going to shuttle them off to another activity. And then you got to eat dinner. Then you got to get ready for bed. And next thing you know, that day's gone. All right? You repeat that Monday to Friday. Then the weekends come around and you're like, let's get our activities on. Let's go to the museums. Let's go to the farmers markets. Let's go swimming. Let's do this or that or whatever. Time flies. You're constantly running around like a maniac. Weekend's over. Then what happens? We're back to the Monday schedule, Monday to Friday schedule. No free time, no time for fun. Why is this a problem? Free time, spontaneous stuff, right? Having some time to just kind of sit back and think really helps a young child develop, these social, emotional, and cognitive skills, right? So let's unpack that a little bit. Free time is going to be no clear structure, no clear activities, no clear rules, no clear really anything, right? Just giving a kid an opportunity to maybe go play with some friends, giving a kid an opportunity to just maybe not to figure out boredom on their own. And by doing this, we're able to build these social skills. You put a kid at a park, right? And they're able to go and create games with others. How about some teamwork? How about some team building? They learn that if they have a bad attitude, maybe the other kids don't want to play with them. That's an important skill, right? Because who wants to be that person when they're an adult with a bad attitude at work? Nobody's going to want to work with you there. So let's work that out at a young age, right? Let's work out some of these problems. John Amos Comenius, the father of modern education, said that much can be learned in play that will afterwards be of use when the circumstances demand. Not being a good team player, not talking, not communicating with others in a friendly way. You don't learn that at a young age, you're gonna have trouble as an adult. The emotional side of things, right? The world can offer up some not so kind situations, right? We're gonna face those situations at a young age so that we could build some resilience, to build a little bit of mental toughness, all right? To know that we could overcome a not so kind person at the park. To know that not everybody's going to be sweet and kind. To know that somebody might push you, right? And you didn't like it. Things like that are going to happen. We have to kind of take the kids, get them out of their little bubble and let them explore some of these tough situations. Not putting them at risk. We could watch from afar, but let them explore and let's see if they can navigate that. If they're able to, like Comenius said, much can be learned in play that will afterwards be of use when the circumstances demand. Last part of this, cognitive development. The brain's going to be like a muscle. If we're constantly bogging it down with activities, if we're constantly bogging it down with just stimulation in the forms of a television show, in the forms of school, in the forms of all of the options that we have in terms of like activities for little kids, man, because they are endless. If we keep overstimulating that mind, that muscle, it's not going to have time to regroup. When you think about an exercise, say like the bench press, you bench press heavy one day, you're going to do some damage to those muscles that were worked. But if you give those muscles time to regroup, they're going to come back a little bit stronger, a little bit more resilient. The mind is like the same thing. We don't want to bench press every day and just constantly break down those muscle fibers. We want to give them an opportunity to rest and recover and rebuild. The same occurs with the brain. The same occurs with our kids. We got to give them some time to themselves, to let them think, let them decompress, let them explore all of those situations that are novel to them, all of those new things that just happen throughout the day. We have to give them time to explore that on their own. Let them think about some things that happen. These are those moments when your kids bring up these great questions because they're sitting there and they're thinking and they're like, why did this happen, and you're like, wait, what? And they have to explain that to you, like some kid at the park did this or that, or something happened at school, right? But if you don't give them that time to decompress, they won't have the skills to kind of develop and work out some of those things that may have arisen throughout the day. Now, when we talk about play, how do you get some more free time? How do you get your child to play a little bit more? I think the key thing here is to let your child discover what they're interested in. It's not you pushing certain things onto them. It's letting them discover what they like and then kind of fostering that and being there for them and supporting them in whatever it may be. Don't interject when your child claims boredom, and don't always interject when you're at the park, say, right? Just let them navigate this stuff. We already talked about it. If your kid says he's bored, give it a couple minutes, give it 5 minutes. Let them see if they're actually bored. Let them see if they need a nudge in a certain direction. But most times, I think they're going to figure out something to do. You just got to give them the time to do it. And then the last part of this is you might have to kind of show them what unstructured play is. How do you do that? Maybe you go out and play with them in the yard. You know, maybe you, your significant other, and your kid go out and play a game of tag. Maybe you make up a new game. Maybe you let them come up with a game and you just go out and you just have some fun and you laugh and you show them the importance and the joy that could come from playing. When I say teach them and show them how to play, this is not like sport practice. This is kind of getting the ball rolling, so to speak, and then letting the kid run away with the ideas. All right? Just remember, we don't want to have miserable kids, and sometimes bogging them down with too many activities makes life tough for us as parents, right? Learning is best served. Learning is most long-lasting when the kid sorts it out on their own, not by constant interjection by us. When do they sort things out is when they have the time to think, when they have some time to explore. Remember, it's like the puzzle. We set the puzzle pieces out. If you tell them where every piece goes, that's not really going to ingrain learning, deep learning. But if you put those puzzle pieces out and you let them navigate, and you let them make mistakes, you let them learn from those mistakes, and then you don't let them quit on it, right? You nudge them, keep at it, you could do this, bam, 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 whatever it may be, right? Let them figure it out on their own. That's where the long-lasting learning occurs. And lastly, remember, mind's like a muscle. Give them some time to think. Give them some time to decompress. Give them some time to just kind of be a kid and sit down and think about all of the crazy stuff that happens in this world. Because remember, for us as adults, we've been through this stuff hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times. For kids, they might see, 5 to 10 new situations every day. And they need some time to navigate that. All right, I hope you guys like this episode. Peace, everybody.